ओम
Samyak
सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Punjab Kishan, did you say anything?
Yeah, I will quit and rejoin.
Okay, no issues. Any questions, clarifications? I think we did the first 8 verses. 8 verses completed. Yeah.
10 verses.
Okay. Any questions, clarifications? All
Committee,
clear.
we completed 7th verse. 8th verse we have to do.
Okay.
7 we complete.
7 we complete. 8th also. Okay. Okay.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
I did have a question from the previous class about the 7 stages of knowing God. I was able to find 6 of them. I'm missing one. I can tell you which ones I have got.
7th is self-realization.
Yes, including that, I'm coming to 6
6
only.
only,
I'm
okay.
missing one.
Where did you see that?
The yoga talks that you had
In
given
yoga, I
earlier.
skipped 1 or 2 stages.
Okay.
Okay, see, this actually it is a paradigm that this person has used. Who's that character who's. Yeah, what's happening to me? I'm forgetting names. That Indian American origin who writes a lot of books.
Not Chopra.
Deepak Chopra, correct. Deepak Chopra, yes. So he has used this paradigm, but he makes it as, survival thinking, little bit more maturity, then proactive. Then he puts 2-3 other stages of miracles, etc. in it, which I will take it as facets of the 3rd stage. Okay. So 3 stages is this, plus 2-3 stages of miracles, etc. 6th stage is the cosmic order, recognizing Ishvara as the cosmic order, and 7th stage is self-realization, that God and I are one and the same.
I see.
So it's a simple paradigm, but it's a good paradigm because the idea is your maturity influences how you relate to God. That's why I can't put the stage of miracles, etc., as a higher stage. Because once you come to Karma Yoga, there is 3rd stage, proactive, responsible, etc. They are all facets if you are digressed into those things. Only facets. They cannot be taken as next step. Whereas from fear-based understanding to love-based understanding to proactive Karma Yoga, you can talk about it as one over the other. But the stage of miracles, etc., you can't put it as a higher stage. You'll have to put certain dimensions of the 3rd stage if you experimented with those things.
I see. And from our standpoint, Swamiji, that is from a Vedanta perspective. So the starting point for a Karma Yogi would be recognizing Ishvara as Karmadhyaksha,
Yeah,
Karma
and
Phaladata.
Karma Phaladata, yeah.
And with maturity, they would recognize Ishvara as Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana.
No, Abhinna Nimitta Upadanam or Karanam will come in the 3rd stage itself,
Okay.
as Karma Yoga itself. Then to recognize, have a deeper understanding of Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam as a whole order of things. Okay, that would be the 6th stage, where Ishvara goes more global than just Karma Diksha.
Got it.
Yeah, more than that. A deeper understanding of the same thing.
Okay.
Because you will
And
say,
the
look at it, understand this, if you will say Ishvara is material and efficient cause, okay, fine. But how much of that converts into seeing that everything is sacred, that gravity is part of Ishvara's order? And if gravity fails and 2 planets collide with each other, that's also part of Ishvara's order. So can you see there's a little bit more depth and maturity coming in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Mithyatva Nischaya is the next level of maturity.
No, the same
or
up to 6th level. By the time you come to 6th level, Mithyatva Nishchaya should take place. Yeah.
Sure. And then the
Otherwise,
final-
you can't move.
Right.
See, Mithyata Nishchaya can come from the Karma Yoga level onwards. It may not be very clear. That's why I said last time, for those who are struggling with Mithyatvam, take it that everything is Mithya, though some of them may be important to you. Remember, I put that condition. Is Mithya and important. Because people are struggling on that, Mithyatva. Or people are taking it as Mithya and not fulfilling their responsibilities, which is also a problem. That's not growth, that is escapism. Now, who decides what your responsibilities are? That also a big question can be asked. Okay, that's a different thing. Yeah. It's always relative.
Thank you so much.
That's why I would say, when it comes to functioning, it's always a good idea to have someone you can discuss these things with on a one-to-one basis, I mean, for me it was my guru, because who understands Mithya, etc. other than that? In the world, a friend is not going to understand Mithyatvam. Those type of things are not within the realm of normal functioning. So that may be a bit difficult to understand. Otherwise, it'll be like someone whom I know, married guy. His mother is not well, but he says everything is Mithya and goes and takes sannyasa, leaving his wife to look after the mother-in-law. Hey, your mother, first responsibility is yours, second your wife's. Then he, after taking sannyasa, he makes 101 rules how he should be treated by other people. Then what about the Mithyatvam? If you have rules of how people should treat you, then where is Mithyatvam? If that was not there, I would have given him benefit of doubt for the first one. But since this was there, I can't give him benefit of doubt. That became escapism. That Mithyatvam became escapism. That's one thing we have to guard against. That's why I said, when you are still a student, still working on the understanding, take it as Mithya and important. Then both will be covered very nicely. And in time, the Mithyatva Nishchaya will become clearer and clearer. With the studies, it will become clearer and clearer. But when I say Mithya and important, we focus too much on the important and not enough on the Mithyatvam, then again the problem comes up. Mithyatvam becomes lip service then. So, that is why Kathopanishad says, Kshurasya Dhara is walking on a razor's edge. You have to be alert and look at what's happening inside you. Self-awareness is a very, very important thing to be cultivated. Your own motives, your own this, why you are doing what you are doing. If that is clear, then things will be clearer. Because what happens is, after some amount of studying, we want to know the truth. And we study for some time, so some insights are there. So we jump to the conclusion that we know, whereas we may not. Or if we have put the teacher on a pedestal, then again we will underplay ourselves. Because the moment you put a teacher on a pedestal, you'll worship him, you don't have to follow him. You don't have to understand him, you only have to worship him. So that balance has to come in. As anything, when it comes to growth, that's always the case. There's no cut and dry, simple answers to the whole thing. Everything is relative to the wholeness. Yeah. And that's life. That is why the Brahma Sutra, that second chapter, this one, Avrutti Asakrit Upadesha. Avrutti Asakrit Upadesha. Based on the statement, Pavana Punyena Shravanam Kuryat. Again and again keep listening, because you may be deluding yourself. Your understanding may not be clear enough. That's why in the passing out, Taittiriya Upanishad, what the teacher says, Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Don't hesitate. Swadhyaya, keep it going. Your studies keep going. Because only then that whole balance comes in. Okay, now back to the Mithyatva he is talking about. 8th verse. Swabhavena amrito yasya dharmo gacchati martyatam kritikena amritatvasya katam stasisi nischala. Okay, now he is talking about Karya Karanam. Okay, cause and effect. We generally take, look at it, the statement. Oh, consciousness is the ultimate cause for everything. Existence, consciousness is the ultimate cause. Okay, but when you take ultimate cause, you have to also see where the whole thing is about. Like, look at it, what he's saying here. Swabhavena amrito yasya dharma. Swabhavena amritaha dharma. By his own nature, is immortal. What? The consciousness. That means free from the hold of time. Then you are saying, Gacchati martyatam. But it becomes effect. From that the whole world has come, you are saying. No? So it's becoming the effect. Effect means what? It is under time and space. If I say something is a cause for something else, both are limited entities then. Even if cause and effect is not separate, even then, the cause has undergone some change, no? Some modifications. Therefore, it has come under time. Therefore, it says, Kritikena amritatvasya katam sahasya nischala. If it is something that's created, then how can that amritatvam be permanent? So when you say existence, consciousness is the basis for the world, yeah, fine. But how? Has it really changed to become the world? Or is the world only an appearance? Okay. Because if you understand consciousness, it's free from time and space. Or even forget it, the presentation itself is free from time and space, even if your understanding is shaky. Then you are saying it's the cause of the world. So then the cause can only be because of Maya Mithyatva. It is not really the cause. That means the world is only an appearance. If you say there is a transformation, and many schools talk about it as transformation, then you are making the infinite limited. To avoid that, Buddhism, etc., will present it as Shunya. Shunya only will come, nothing will come. We are not living in a non-existent universe. We are living in an existing universe. That can't be the thing. And from non-existence, existence cannot come. So there's where the whole thing. Stasisi nischala. Okay. Then because he had said Swabhava etc. is clarifying that. Okay. Samsiddhi ki स्वभाव की सहजा अकृताचया प्रकृते से इति विज्ञेयः स्वभावम न जहाति यः. Say samsiddhi ki, whatever is established, well established, okay, as swabhava ki, as something that is your own swabhava, it has to be what? Sahaja akritachaya. It has to be something sahajam, natural. When the thing is there, it is there. Even if it is something finite. Swabhava of fire is heat. If fire is there, heat will be there. It is sahaja, natural. Sahaja means sahajayate. When the fire is born, heat is also born. They can't separate the two. And akritaka, okay? Akritachaya. It is not because of some other reason. There is no external reason because of which the fire is hot. Fire is hot because of nature to be hot. Now you can give scientific explanation why the heat comes up, etc., etc., etc. You are only explaining the why. You are not dismissing the swabhava of the thing. So it's natural, sahajam, and akritaka. It is not created. Okay. Then he says, prakritam seti viknyeyaha swabhavam na jahati sa. Then if this is the natural prakriti, then swabhavam na jahati. How can anything give up its swabhava? The swabhava, the intrinsic nature of a thing can never be given up. So if the intrinsic nature is timelessness, it will always remain timeless. So from the timeless, you cannot have a time-bound creation. Neither from Shunya you can have a time-bound creation. From Shunya you cannot have anything. So only from something existent. And what is existence is limitlessness, it cannot become the creation. Nor can you say creation has some other cause. Why? Timeless means limitlessness. There is nothing other than it. If there is nothing other than consciousness, there is no other cause for the creation. At the same time, you experience a creation. Here is where the problem comes. You experience a creation. You cannot deny that. No philosophy, no pramana can dismiss the fact you experience creation. Then you have to explain it away. Because if the fact that consciousness is limitlessness is the basis, is the ultimate cause, if that has to be understood, then creation has to be explained. Otherwise, you will put consciousness in Timbuktu, beyond everything else. Then you will have to say, हाँ रहने दो ना, क्या फर्क पड़ा, किधर है इधर. So that is why the whole idea of Maya, Mithyatvam, etc. came into the picture. That means what? Consciousness is only appearing as a creation. There is no real creation. Creation is an appearance. How much of that statement is being accepted by your mind? See, material cause, efficient cause, etc. is easy to accept, isn't it? But I am saying that consciousness is appearing as a creation. Why the statement you find difficult to understand is because when you take appearance, you will always take appearance like rope snake. Correct? That's an appearance. Book is not an appearance. A book is equally an appearance. This is what I want you all to get clarity about. And that clarity can come only if your heart accepts what your mind knows. I can give you the arguments for your mind. Your heart has to accept it. That this book that feels so solid, and it is solid. I can knock out a man with the book. It's a powerful thing. It's just an appearance. Why? Nothing but paper. The logic I can give you. You all can repeat the logic also, isn't it? To molecules, subatomic particles, all that you will say. What time suna? That means what? This is only appearance. है नहीं है. The reality of this book is the reality of existence consciousness. The reality of the whole touch, feel, etc. is only appearance. Why? Because this book has as much reality as my hand. So one form is dealing with another form. Therefore, at the level of the form, it appears real. It appears real, it is not real. There is no reality here. Other than existence, consciousness, there is no reality. Yes, Sunita, you have a question.
Swamiji, this becomes very easy when we talk about book and non-living things. It is when it comes level of emotions, it is there where the game changes.
Yeah.
So that person. So and even like I read a lot of articles on this, that the science also, where does the emotion originate from? Like what is this thing, like what is called emotions? And that actually becomes the basis, and that makes Maya so difficult to accept, because I can understand the world is mithya, this is mithya, it is not, the tree is mithya. It's very easy at that level. But when it comes to that emotion level, and a lot of now, even the modern science is writing books on what is the origin of emotions and why it is so personalized to everyone and why everybody reacts differently to different situations, and a lot of things which are coming up, but that part is little grey still, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me handle that right now. Let us take an emotion. Let me take a powerful emotion. Okay? There are some emotions which are weak, some are powerful. Love, anger, etc. are powerful emotions. Let us take love. I love this person. Where is the emotion coming from? Remember, emotions come from thinking. That connection let us not forget. So what have you thought about this person? He or she is nice. It fits in with your value structure, with your understanding of what beauty should look like. What you have certain image in your mind, a psyche, all thoughts, because of your culture, your upbringing, everything. Yeah, it's all your concept of beauty also is part of your culture and upbringing. Like in Valmiki Ramayana, there is a discussion when Sita is held captive in Ashokavana in Sri Lanka. The Rakshas are discussing, how can Ravana fall in love with this woman? She's so thin. She doesn't have a belly. Are you getting the idea? So, in our mind, culture, upbringing, etc., we have certain image. Now, this person you have met has some of them. Enough for you to trigger projecting the other things. Because it has some of them, now you form an emotional connect. And then you project that whole thing onto that person. It's called Shobhanadhyasa. And then, out of that thinking, you have emotion of love. So tell me, how true is it? It's a product of your thinking, no? It's an emotional response to your thinking. Where has love come from? Now, what science is trying to do is trying to locate in your brain what function this. Because for them, brain is mind, nothing else. Why? Physical paradigm. In the question of consciousness and feelings and emotions, you can never follow science totally because the physical paradigm, matter manifests consciousness. That paradigm is a faulty one. And the problem is science has become so this thing, people are trying to explain spirituality in scientific terms. What I made that comment yesterday in the class. Remember that, Sunita?
Yeah, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Swamiji, what about death?
Yeah.
Like death.
No, one second. Let us finish the emotion totally. One after the other. Okay. So.
Even the death emotion only. Like I just lost a very good friend yesterday.
So one second. Now you're talking of sorrow. Now let me finish this love, sir. And let us understand one emotion and then we can go to another also. So when you come to this emotion called love is a product of my thinking. In short thinking. Projection, this, that, psyche, all that thing comes into the picture. But basically, it's a emotional response to a thought pattern. So what is it? Both are vrittis. Thinking is a vritti, emotion is another vritti. Thoughts. It's a thought pattern. Loss, sorrow, same thing. Oh, the person has gone away, permanently or temporary. There is a sense of loss, no? Permanently, there is a sense of permanent loss. Temporary, there is a sense of temporary loss. Oh, I have to wait 1 year to meet the guy again, or whatever. So, again, product of thinking. Because that form is not here. So, whether it's an emotion of grief, emotion of love, or emotion of joy, etc. Every emotion has its end in a process of thinking. No? That is why one of the qualifications for the study of Vedanta is Vairagya, objectivity. So at least my thinking, my evaluation will be very objective. Otherwise, within the mithya world, we will create other more finer and finer mithyas. Like the other day, someone whom I know was using some of this AI thing. There are many AI this thing now. Some of them have names. Like one of them, I think, is Cloud or something. Okay. And say, oh, I love this cloud. I said, you're talking about it as a person. Yeah, you're talking about it as a person. You know, artificial intelligence now, artificial emotions also. No? As it is, we are living in a mithya world. Now within the mithya world, we are creating another mithya world. Finally, we'll have so many mithya worlds, we don't know, we'll lose touch of whatever functional reality we have. Of course, there's an easy way of handling that. Go and walk up to the person and give him a nice whack.
Swamiji, it's a
Yeah.
razor's edge, right? Like once on one side we talk about Vairagya, but on the other side we talk about Bhakti and the emotional connect to Ishvara.
Correct.
So it goes
So
parallel.
one second. What have I called as bhakti?
Emotional connect.
Emotional connect, emotional response to your understanding of Ishvara. So again the same thing, na? So the more true your understanding is, the more real your bhakti is. Otherwise you are listening to some stories and making a make-believe bhakti, isn't it? Which is not bad, will help you grow. Make-believe also can help you grow. Yeah. Make-believes can help you grow. I've used it in training youngsters very often. Put them in a make-believe world, making them believe it is real. Oh my God, how much courage and all they have developed. It lasted all their lives. Then 10 years down the line, I told them it's all make-believe. They refused to believe it is make-believe because the effect on them was so valid. So again, bhakti is a natural emotion that will come up. Now, bhakti, since you cannot deal with your idea of Ishvara in a physical term, it may not always come up just because of your understanding. So you may have to do a few things associated with the bhakti for their emotion to come up. And that bhakti is necessary because without that you cannot be a karma yogi. Without karma yoga there is no growth. A wise person's bhakti is identification. No? It's not an emotional thing. It's identification. That's the highest level of bhakti possible. So saying Ishvara and I are one and the same is not within the Mithya world. You have used the Mithya to negate the Mithya. That's what Vedanta does, isn't it? So am I making sense, Sunita, in all this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, even some of the practices that you take seriously and do, whether it's a puja or a breathing exercise or meditation or whatever, it's all within the Mithya world. No? But it is important. Therefore, you give it the importance it deserves. That's why I always told you last time also. It's Mithya but important. Mithya but important. Take it that way, it'll work out fine. Yeah, Kartik.
So, Swamiji, this mithya but important, is that why terms like Vyavaharika Satyam are used?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why we are divided into Pratibhasikam and Vyavaharikam. Whereas Mandukya Karika didn't bother about it. No? Satyam and Mithya, bas ho gaya kam. But we are caught in that in between states. Therefore, a little bit it's good to have this. Because that becomes a stepping stone to understand it's all an appearance here. और कुछ नहीं है. I mean, it's an appearance, but you can enjoy it. Nothing wrong in that. You go all the way to Kanyakumari to see the rising sun or setting sun. उधर से. So once I remember in one of my old phones, I took a photograph of the setting sun and put it as a screensaver. And people are saying, oh my God, where is this? Kanyakumari? Is this it? Yeah. I said, you laugh. And I said, where? Marine Lines. I used to have a class there. So when I saw a nice sunset, I just clicked. Ordinary phone. Okay, not even the smartphones. So उधर तक जाते हैं देखने के लिए. Well, what are you enjoying? Mithya, na? I mean, this is not Vedanta Mithya. This is Mithya that recognizes everything sun doesn't rise or set. But you enjoy it. It's okay. So enjoy the Mithya world. क्या फर्क पड़ा? The problem comes because, oh, it's finite, oh, it is this thing, oh, problematic. Therefore, Mithyata Nishya, a little bit more should be there. So, when you are going through some difficult things, that Mithyata Nishya may be difficult, therefore bring in more of Prasada Buddhi, Ishwararpanam, etc. there. Because the situation you are going through may be very challenging, very difficult. And that's part of life. Certain situations are very challenging. And so that Mithyatva may be a bit difficult at that time. That's okay. You'll get there. But right, when you're going through that, Prasada Buddhi, Ishwararpana Buddhi. Now you see how important Karma Yoga becomes at any stage of learning. So, Prasada Buddhi, okay, God's will, take it. Okay, Prasada. That'll help you accept it. Accept the situation you're going through, do what is necessary. All that will come into the picture. Then after the whole thing is over, look back at it and see how Mithya it was. That's later exercise afterwards. Look back and see. You may want to reach out to a friend for support, this, that. That's all part of the game. We are not isolated human beings. No? As a human being, we have that connect with other people, and it's important to maintain that connect. Vedanta is not about isolating yourself. This is another mistake people make. God, anything you touch in Vedanta is all problematic. I have to isolate myself from everything. The final step in Vedanta is to say, I am everything. And if you are going to isolate yourself from everything, how can you say I am everything? For you, people are a problem. You have to be a recluse. That's how you are. And if you have to be a recluse, how can you say I am everything? No, I am everything. Only the people are the problem. I am not saying you should be a Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra means friend to the whole world. Okay? Yeah, you don't have to be like that. I can understand that. Okay. But, yeah. A student of mine once came and told me, my sister's child is a problem, I said, when did a 1-year-old child become a problem for you? Bathing, feeding, cleaning, etc. is taken care of by the sister. The problematic things, changing a diaper, etc. is taken care of by the sister. If at all difficult things, that's the difficult thing. Not really difficult. What is it? Change a diaper, or care. Big deal. Well, yeah. So that is taken care of by this thing. Yeah. So then, how is a child a disturbance? If a 1 or 2-year-old child is a disturbance for you, okay, you have a long way to go in Vedanta. I can understand if you find a 15-year-old difficult to deal with. That requires some skills. Okay. But 1 or 2-year-old will demand your attention a bit, that's all. No, give her that attention. Oh, it's a disturbance. Why? So, bhakti, yep, that question, is bhakti also mithya? Yeah. Like for example, if it is based on stories, and most bhakti, we start with stories. No? God is like this, like that, Krishna did this, Krishna did that. We are not scientifically analyzing all of them. Yeah. So, since it is story based, bhakti is there, but how real is it? It's based on the story, based on a very rudimentary understanding of Ishvara. It's important, but why? It helps you grow. It opens up your heart, helps you grow. That's why there are stages of understanding God better and better. No? So our bhakti also becomes more and more valid. And when is it absolutely true? Lord and I are one and the same. The greater the love, the greater the sense of identification, isn't it? Towards absolute love, absolute identification. But absolute identification is not an emotional process. An emotional process can never culminate in absolute identification for Ishvara or for a person. You can have a great amount of identification, even with a person, but not absolute. Why? Because you have two minds, you have two bodies, you have two things, you have two thinking, you have two backgrounds. Everything is different. You may have different goals in life, different needs in life. So they can never be total. Similarly with Ishvara, emotionally it can never be total unless your understanding is Ishvara and I are one and the same. Then the bhakti becomes identification. Absolute. Parama Prema Sarupa Bhakti, they'll say that. Narada Bhakti Sutra defines that as Parama Prema Sarupa, in the form of absolute identification, absolute love. So Tyaga Rupa, Jnana Rupa Cha, he adds after that in the next sutra. That's why I always start with saying any emotion, including bhakti, is a response to your understanding. If you take it that way, the whole picture fits in. Otherwise, the picture doesn't fit in. Because you'll have bhakti on one side, this becomes all isolated, like how Sunita was asking. One say vairagya, objectivity, one say bhakti, emotion. It all has to fit into one matrix, one tapestry of a spiritual student's life. And it can fit in very beautifully when it comes with this understanding, this holistic view of things. It's not different. Abhi bhakti kya, abhi knowledge karega. It's not like that. Yeah. Rich Kathas to start. Yeah, that's how we start. Na? See, it's good to put bhakti into a child. So for the children, the stories are important. It gives an edge to their personality. And there also, you tell the story of, let us say Ramayana, you tell the kids. You will find many children relating differently to the same story. For someone, Hanuman is the hero. For someone, Rama is the hero. For someone, it is Sita. And if you are DMK product, Ravana is your hero. Yes, Punjab vacation.
That is why someone from the earlier DK,
Yeah.
they wrote Kimayanam
Yeah. They will.
against Ramayana.
Yeah.
Kimayanam, where Rama is the villain
As a hero.
and Ravana is the hero.
There is a more recent book like that. It is called Asura. Okay, it is written by someone from Kerala, communist probably, and he has written a book called Asura. There he has described Sri Lanka, and Ravana is trying to make him as a hero. But when I read Valmiki and I read this book Asura, I find Valmiki has done more justice to Ravana than this book has done. So, all the stories are meant for starting point of bhakti and Ishvara and something. So, some maturity, some dharma, etc. will come into your life. Then the journey starts. How much? It's up to individual to pick up. The whole thing can be deepened at the time of teenage rebellion, or it can wither away at the time of teenage rebellion. Because you are coming with your samskaras now. Your samskaras are playing a role. So it can deepen into a spiritual search, because every teenager has a teenage angst where you search for these answers. That time, how much can you give them is a question. How much can you give them in a manner that is palatable to them? Just 1 minute. Huh? Okay. I just have to connect the battery. The battery is running low. Yeah, in that thing that he has put up, it's a very basic understanding, but it's a good thing to work on about stages of knowing God. He's given a YouTube link to where I put it up. So then again, each one of us may have more or less bhakti in our lives. See, bhakti is there. Expression of it will be different from every person. Yeah. For some it may be bhajan singing, for some it may be puja part. Take a typical tambram, it will all be puja part. How much this he does, how much that he does, this puja, that puja, with this much, this, that, etc. Fine. Someone else it may be bhajan singing. For someone like me it may be seva. Yeah, someone may be different. Each person is different. And that's okay, perfectly fine. Yeah. 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 I mean, during my naval days, I would say, oh, my sword is at his service. That's how it was for me. Bhakti was in that sense, you know. Yeah. So, hey, it changed. This is fine. And bhakti also always has to be tempered with dharma. Otherwise that bhakti can become fanaticism, etc. That's why dharma plays a role into it. Dharma will prevent it from being fanatic. That's why anyone who wants to make a fanatic out of you will knock off dharma. Or will distort dharma into their version of dharma. Hey, robbing is wrong, but if you are stealing for Krishna, it is okay. I found organizations talking like this. Yes, cults happen like that, correct? A cult, is you to give up your thinking. The study of Vedanta and Indian heritage, you don't give up your thinking and reasoning. So that's the important part. Okay, we have digressed a bit, but it is an important digression into what the whole thing is. Okay, sahaja akrita siti vijnaya svabhavana jahati. Okay, so clear up to now, the 9th verse. Okay, swabhavike, sahaja, akrita, those are the important things. Okay, now he says, okay, जरा मरण निर्मुक्त सर्वे धर्मा स्वभावतः जरा मरणमिच्छन्तः शवन्ते तन्मनीषिणः मनीषयः. Okay, says jara marana nirmukta. In the vision of Vedanta, jara marana nirmukta sarve dharma, all jivas. Here dharma is a term used for jivas. Okay, all jivas, sarve dharma, swabhavatah, by their intrinsic nature, jara marana nirmukta. They are free from old age, death, etc. Free from the hold of time. Yeah. To say deathless may not be enough because you may still be hanging around for a long time. अब तो बिल्कुल बूढ़ा हूँ, गोली खाकर जीता हूँ business. No, nirmukta. Jara also, old age, etc. also given. Therefore, jara marana nirmukta. Sarve dharma soma. Therefore, jara marana michantaha. Shavantetam manishaya. Okay. Therefore, if you are experiencing, if you are saying, no, abhi to bilkul buddha hu baba, I am going to die, I am one step in the grave, etc. What does that mean? You are not in touch with your true nature. That means birth, death, etc. are not intrinsic to you. They come because of your association, your identification with your body and mind. Why? Swabhavataha, you are free from it. So in the vision of Vedanta, you are free. In our vision, the opposite. So what is Vedanta learning? Making the vision of Vedanta my vision. That's all. इतना ही बात है. इतना ही बात, और कुछ नहीं है. But people come expecting ये साधना करने के वो साधना करने. चलो ठीक है, कर लो. You give them a few to keep their minds engaged, because they need that. Otherwise they'll think, it's only talk. You're talking. What? No doing. So थोड़ा दे दे, ये जपा करो, ये करो, पुरुषम करो. Then they feel, I mean, it brings about a certain commitment to seeking, which is good part of it. But you can't overdo that part also. Yeah. Can't overdo that part. वो भी problem हो जाता है. A little bit is good. Okay. Because your mind requires some things, some polishing. So that much is good, not more than that. Therefore, this is the whole thing. I see myself as someone born, dying, aging, transforming myself. And the whole orientation is what? I should become something. No? Right from the time you are a child, this has been put into you. The question of becoming. I must become something. And becoming is samsara. It is good. In the initial stages, you become something. Why? It gives you a sense of achievement. It learns discipline thinking. All that thing is there. That's good. It develops a healthy self-esteem. वो सब ठीक है, अच्छा ही है. But understand, all that is within samsara. So all growth is within samsara. Yeah, Pankajavacation.
I remember Puja Swamiji's statement when he was doing this Mandukya Karika. He said, becoming is bondage, being is liberation.
Yeah, being is liberation. Correct.
So he said that.
Yeah, correct. Because becoming, in fact, samsara is called samsarati iti, becoming. You're becoming something, becoming. Yeah. So because at the same time, some becoming may be necessary for your growth. But that growth has to be understood. When I am growing, I am within samsara only. I have to grow enough in samsara to call the bluff of samsara, to be free from that samsara. So some sort of, this is fine. You use the tree of samsara to grow. After that what? After that you cut down the tree. Asanga shastrena dridena chitva tatah padam tat parimargitavyam. After that, inquire into the source of the whole thing. Yeah. So until you grow, you need that. It's fine. Use whatever props you need to grow. It's okay. Yeah. Some basic dharma is kept in mind, but that is also the relative thing. Dharma is not absolute anyway. Dharma is highly relative. Yeah. So what is the parameter? Does it help you grow? Follow that. That's dharma for you. No, it does not helping you grow. Yes, and then it is a bondage for you. Dharma should help you grow. It's meant to help you grow. So that's where the whole thing is. So finally you understand what? That swabhavataha, I don't have samsara. There's no samsara in me. Bhakti language puts it differently, like Meera did. Bhava sagar sab sukh gaya hai. Fikr nahi ab tarna ki. Then Meera ke Prabhu Girdhara Nagar. Don't think of Meera as a rustic. Huh? She wanted Krishna as a city sophisticate. Nagaraha, Nagarat Agataha, Nagaraha. Not a country bumpkin. Yeah. She says that, no? Mira ke Prabhu Girdhara, Nagara. Nagarat Agacha. Does a person become sannyasi when growth is complete, or is there further growth for a sannyasi? Okay. Sannyasa is part of that growth. Okay. Sannyasa is in two terms. One, sannyasa is a certain level of growth that you have had, and you decide that this is the only pursuit for you. So there is a growth. Then what is the growth in sannyasa? In sannyasa, the growth is first gaining that knowledge, if you have not gained it before. Then the only growth in sannyasa is having a greater nishtha in the knowledge, because you are not wasting time on other things. Like people ask, Swamiji, what did you do today? I said, I read a lot. Oh, whole day went in reading only. Babaji, और क्या काम करने का? Oh, you read. Then sometimes I no, थोड़ा meditation भी किया. Okay. पहुंचा हुआ महात्मा. So the growth is nishtha. In sannyasa, the growth is nishtha. Why? You are not distracted by other things. And teaching is not a distraction. Teaching is part of the nishtha. Helping somebody grow is not a distraction. That is part of the nishtha. Being there for people is not a distraction. It's part of the nishtha. Can you be there for people with all the knowledge that you have? Can you be empathetic enough to empathize with someone's grief or joy? Why only grief empathize with? Joy also you should empathize with. Otherwise your focus is only problem oriented. Both are necessary, no? So, yeah. So one of the things in sannyasa, to be part of the whole world, to enjoy the whole world, at the same time be independent of it. So, if at all there is any growth in sannyasa, these are the growths in sannyasa. Is sannyasa a must? No. As long as you can spend time with the nishtha, that's fine. Yeah. Without formally taking sannyasa also. But you are leading like I had a student, she is no more now. She was staying in Breach Candy, big house, and 3-4 bedroom house, big hall, etc. Drive her own car, had lots of money. But if you look at her life, it was like a sannyasi life only. All my classes she would attend. And she will take some beginners classes for people. She will say, Swamiji, these people are not ready to listen to you. They've got a lot way to go. I'll do that and then I'll bring them to you. And she would do that. So her life was a little sannyasi life, even though she was driving a good car. She was living in a posh area. She had money. So, but her life was like that. So it's not necessary that you take the ropes formally. Can you spend time and effort in this knowledge, rooted in this knowledge? That's all that matters. Sannyasa is a formal thing that gives you the time because you are cutting off a lot of roles. No? Hardly any role left in you. Teacher, student, friend, that's it. Everything else gone. Yeah. So because of that, there is a ease about the whole thing. Okay. So I think we have done about 3 verses. Good place to stop. We will continue it next time. Okay. Om Tat Sat.